everyone. If you're watching this video, you must have seen the last video about setting up the Twitter developer account. And without the Twitter developer account, you won't be able to mine or analyze the Twitter data. So after you set up the Twitter account, I hope you have all set up your Twitter developer account, and you have also tested it whether it's working properly or not. That I have explained in my last video. So after doing that, the next is to learn some of the important functionalities about data mining, Twitter data. So while mining the Twitter data, we need to understand the basic configuration. Okay. So in order to mine Twitter data, you need to create a Twitter API, application programming interface, and using the Tweepy library we need to authenticate our Twitter application. So after authenticating, we must have access to our tokens or secret keys. There are 4 keys that I have discussed in the last video. And if not, please watch the last video in order to have a clear idea about this. And whatever code I have here in my file, so it has access to a file named credentials.py. You will also have access to that. So this is what I obtained after creating my Twitter account, which is being set up. So I'm going to give you this file in order, let's say you don't have your Twitter developer account, or let's say you are not successful in creating your developer account. If you have created your own, you don't have to use this. You can use your own. And yeah, that's all. So I'll be providing you this credentials.py file also to have access to it. So it's in the same it should be in the same directory as of this notebook, Jupyter notebook file in which you are running your code. So if you do not have a Twitter developer account, you still need a credential.py file. Okay. And because the file credentials.py file contain all the keys and secret that you need to analyze the Twitter data. So these all Python cells or code that I have in this file, it contains 2 important things. First, Twitter developer account is required. How? I have already told you about this, explained it. And let's say you don't have a developer account, the backup for the student is the credential.py file. Okay. So the code should be only run by students without a developer account, or the students whose credential.py file is not valid. Okay. If you have your own credential, I'd suggest go with yours, not with the credential file that I am providing you. I have already explained about the API wait for rate limits. In order to view data or analyze data, you need to set up the rate limit. So what is this rate limit? You can refer this link for getting a great idea about this. So what are the API rate limits per window? Okay. So rate per limit window is 3 hours. So per user is 300 and rate limit per app is 300. Beyond this rate, you won't be able to analyze or visualize the data in the Twitter. So read the page and have some idea about this. So Twitter API have the rate limits, which basically restrict or limit the number of times you can use them in every 15-minute intervals. Okay. And Twitter may automatically block you from using its API after that 15-minute interval or the rate limit is being reached. So what is a tweet? We are mostly analyzing Twitter data, means we are analyzing the tweets. So Twitter API methods return some JSON objects. So JSON is your JavaScript object notation. It is a text-based data interchange format. And you can compare it with the Python basic dictionaries. It's similar to that. So let's have access to our own Twitter data. So import Tweepy and credentials. Tweepy for analyzing the Twitter. This is the library that you need to import, and import the credential file. Here the file that I'm going to provide you. If you have your own credential, copy and paste all the keys and secret to this credential file and then access it here in this way. Now object auth will be created with the consumer key and the consumer secret for the authorization handler class. Now you need to set the access token using the access token and the token secret that is provided to you. You will also find it in the credential file as well. Now you need to create the API for accessing it. The same thing I have also done in my last video, in the last file, Twitter test file. Some more details about all the objects and the variable that I have used here. Now to get the user information, so let's say suppose there is one user, and what is that user? I have taken an example of NASA, okay, which is very famous. So we are going to access the tweets based on the topic of NASA. So how to do that? So create one user object. How to do that? Use your own API that you have created earlier. Using that API dot get user function, you will have to provide what user data you want to access. Okay, so let me do one thing. Let's run it. So here if I want to verify the type of the user, what type of user it is. So the Twitter will return like this: Tweepy models user. So this is a type of user. And if you want to see detail about that user, NASA user, so this is all details you will have about the NASA user Twitter. So this is how you will get the user data using your Twitter account, secret and keys. Next, here this part of the code is basically for those students who don't have their own developer account. If you don't have that, import pickle, another one library or module. Then load data from file. So what it will do, it will import the inbuilt file, load it, and whatever consumer keys that it has. So if that is equal to the credential.consumer key, and credential we have already imported here, no need to import it again. So if that is the case, it will load all the data. Okay, so again the same user detail will be loaded for those students who don't have their own developer account. This is for backup, your own backup. But let's say you have your own credentials, you don't have to run this part. If you are successfully running this part and this part, that's fine also. Now let's see what is JSON format, JavaScript object notation format. So whatever data you are viewing over internet, across internet, it's typically stored in the JavaScript object notation, JSON format, and it's similar to the Python dictionary. So how to see a JSON? So to do that, this is the link you can use. Okay, so you can copy any JSON variable here and you can see the details then. So here for our own teaching purpose or demonstration purpose, here what I'm going to do, I'm going to import the JSON module, and here the Tweepy library or the Tweepy module will convert the JSON information into a model class as shown below. So let's say you have already the user. Okay, you have already loaded the user data. Now you want to see the JSON format of that. So what you can do, JSON.dumps user dot underscore JSON. So if you run this part, you will have the detail. This is the JSON format of the same user detail that you see here. Okay. The next thing is, Most data returned by the Tweepy library or module will be stored in the format of Tweepy module class object. Okay, and for properties of these objects, we can always use any type of functionality you are going to use. You just have to use the dot operator. User dot screen name if you want to know the screen name. Followers count, how many followers does a user have, how many friends does a user have, what is the user location profile, I mean location of the user's profile. All those detail will be accessed using the dot operator. So for example, a tweepy.models.user object like we have created for the NASA, it's stored in a variable user. Okay, and these are the properties that we may access. So let's see our user NASA. What is the screen name, followers count, and the user friends count? So that will give you, this is the output. Number of followers are this much, and these are very less number of friends NASA has, correct? So this is how all the properties that you can access. Now let's say you want to know typically what are the friends, who are the friends of NASA. So let's say we want to just find out 10 friends, first 10 friends in the list. So what you can do, users first 10 friends are, it's the first line printed. Now for each friend, use a for loop in the user dot friends. So first this one will return all the friends. Then from that it will filter only 10 friends. This is the dictionary format. Okay, starting with the initial index and ending on 10. So for first 10 user friends, for each friend, friend location will be assigned to location. Then you can print the screen name from location. So these are 10 um, friends of NASA. Okay, understood? It's pretty easy, just using a loop in order to find out the 10 friends. Now let's say you want to search something in the Twitter. So we can search the Twitter using the search function. So what do you want to search? Let's say a query, but based on you, what type of query that you want to ask to Twitter, what type of mode, full text or short text. Then what is the result type, count, how many number of tweets per page, up to 100, by default is 15, and language, what type of language tweet do you want to have, and you use en code, en code for English. Let's say I'm just trying to search something about Connecticut, a query. So let's search that. To obtain the list of the search, what you can do, use your own API that you created, use the search function, provide the query, which mode and what language. Okay, so I'm going to run this now. Now you have to check whether the consumer key is equal to the credential consumer key, my own developer account key or not. If you don't have your own developer account, you have to run this. Without this, it don't work. Okay. Now, first result, ap.search result returns a list. So let's look at the first tweet. So here I wanted to print the type of the tweet. Let's say you want to see the tweet actually. Okay, I have to edit it. Just bear with me one moment. Okay, so here is the tweet one result that is being returned for our tweet, that is Connecticut. So based on Connecticut, this is the data that I am having. Okay, so once we are done with this, now as you know, the Twitter always uses the JSON format, right? You have already the model tweet one. Okay, it returns a list. Now you have to as it uses always a JSON format, you need to view it in a proper way. So it's supposed to be parsed by Tweepy module. And to see that, do one thing, copy paste the output below, whatever you have here, by running this. I'm trying to check whatever returned from tweet 1 here, what is the JSON format of that. So try to run this code to find the JSON format. Now copy and paste the output below that you see here, this part, whole part, and then paste the output below into this link here. Okay, let me try here. Okay, so it's working. So something I entered as it is a valid JSON, it's giving all the details about that. Okay, take this is see created when full text, the ID. Okay, everything is written in here. Now the next thing is that to extract information from tweets. To extract information, what type of information do you want to extract? It may be full text, retweet count, if it's retweeted or not, what is the user who tweeted, who is the user who tweeted, what is the language, and what is the ID. So actually, individual tweets about a subject are stored in a Tweepy model starter subject. Okay, and all the properties need to be accessed through the dot operator. So let's see each one of them. So see the first one, full text. So I'm using the same object tweet one. So tweet one dot full text. So it will return the full text of the tweet, whole text. Okay, and it's in the extended format. Now, since the tweets are returned from the API.search are stored in a list, we can iterate through the list and output the information. How to do that? Let's see. In the results that you have everything in the previous so in the results, for every result you want the username and full text. Now you want to see the retweet count. So let's say for the every result, if there is a retweet count, if it's greater than 0, it means it has at least one retweet. Then if has attribute retweet status, first status, then retweeted from whom, what is the screen name. Okay, so this is what it will return, first result, then how many number of retweet. Okay, so retweeted from whom, the screen name, and then how many times it's being retweeted, and then the screen username, everything is returned in here. Okay, so for our results, let me see what results did I have here. Okay, so I have the results for the Connecticut. Now for every user, it's giving all the details that I have applied in the for loop. This is one user. Here second one, one user. This is another one user. Okay, like this, all the details it will be returning to us. Now let's see what are some of the trending topics that is currently trending right now. How to do that? So there are various methods for retrieving the trending topics. So we have one function. API has one function, trends underscore available. It will return a list of locations that the Twitter has trending topic. And information for that location is stored in a dictionary. So it's the result is always in the list of dictionaries. So, and there is one thing, a location is always identified by WOEID. Yahoo where on Earth ID. So where on WOEID of 1 indicates worldwide. So let's see. API dot the if you have a developer account, you can implement this. If not, try to go through this segment of the code. So let me run the code. So API.trends available will be assigned to trends available. Now, if you want to, it's now in the format of a list of dictionaries. So if you want to access to the first trend in the dictionary, so this is what you have. Name is worldwide, and WOEID is one, which is for here the location, okay, worldwide. And this is the place type, URL, parent ID, country, country code. All those details are written in the format of a dictionary. After this, let's say you want to find 5 trending locations. To do that, you can use what is the length of number of trend location that is returned in this way. Use the length function, and then to return the first 5 trend location, what you can do, for for each result in the trends available, okay, for first 5 uh, in the dictionary, you can print the name, WOEID, details, okay, separated by a space. So it will return all those details in here. These are the first 5 trending location currently now based on our query. Now let's say you want to get trends for a specific location. So how to do that? For this, you need this part is for the developer students, those have developer account. So trend results will be assigned to API.trends place. Which place you want to see? Look into that. Correct. So ID means one you are assigning for worldwide, and the trend results will return it in this way. Okay. So this is a specific location for every trend. Now the next thing, if you don't have a developer account, use this segment for running this piece for trends place. Now next, after that, your trends underscore results object, the list already contain the dictionary. So where key is your trends and the value is the list of trends that is stored in the dictionary. Okay. So it has the key is your trends, and all the value are all the trends that are stored in format of dictionary. So from that, let's say you want to see the name, the URL, the tweet volume, and query all those details. You can see them here. Then next, let's extract a list of words. So suppose say you want to access this first one. So what is the key for this trends? So how to access it? Use the trends result object for the first trends you want to see. Look at the first trend. So which is stored as a format of a dictionary. So this is the detail about that. Name, URL, promoted content, query, and tweet volume. Now this part of the code, the print trends function below, it can print the information from each trend T. So let's see what is happening here. In the for loop, it will go over all the trends that is being retrieved. For each trend, it will call the print trend function with um, passing the t variable, and here print trend t will give you all these details, and that is for each trend it is giving you all these details in here. Okay. Now let's say you want to get trends closest to a specific location, suppose. So how to do that? So API.trends closest function, it can allow us to see or look into the trends that are close to a specific location. So specified by the latitude and longitude. So if you see for Eastern, the closest for your location, you can open it and see what is the latitude and longitude value for it. Okay, so all this value I have also provided in here. So here our function trends closest, it may return the list of locations similar to trends available. So this is the function for this API. Will call the trends closest on this latitude longitude value, which is basically for Eastern. So based on the location around the Eastern, we are going to see what are the trending, so what are trending right now. Okay, so this is what we have. It allowed us to look at the trends close to our Eastern location mostly. Now, let's say you want to display a list of trending topics closest to Eastern. So, how to do that? So, we can have this WOEID for our location Eastern, and then there is a function called trends place method to get a list of trending topics. Let's look into that. So, trends closest name, that is trending topics for first trend that is closest is your Providence. Here it has returned here. So for Providence, it will see with the WOEID value. Okay, this. So it will see all the trend results, and each trend will be accessed as it is in the format of a dictionary. Now for each trend, print all the trends. So trending topics for Providence. Okay, so these are the current trending topics right now going on. This is all about analyzing the Twitter data using our Twitter developer account and using the Tweepy library. So in this way, you can customize this code based on your requirement using your own credential file. If you still don't have your own credentials, you can use the backup code that I have in this file as well. Using that, analyze the Twitter data.